Ms. Hernandez, you need to turn your camera on. Since you have the ability to appear on camera, please turn your camera on and unmute yourself. Thank you. Attorney Nelson, just go ahead and unmute yourself for when he comes out.
You said unmute myself?
Yeah, unmute yourself.
Okay.
Good morning. This is cause number 2020-23787. In the interest of Ezra Scott Head, all parties and witnesses, please raise your right hands to be sworn. You solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
I do.
All right. Ma'am, please, wait, hold on. Or yeah, Zoom says unable to detect camera, so I can't, there's no camera?
No, I already called Chris.
Okay, okay, we got a problem with our camera. Ma'am, please state your name and your relationship to the child. Ma'am.
Sarah Hernandez, and I'm his mother.
All right, representing the mother.
Mitchell Nelson on behalf of the mother, Sarah Hernandez.
All right, sir, your name and your relationship to the child.
Nathan Head, I'm the father.
All right, and representing the state of Texas.
Sade Parker, Your Honor.
All right, we've got an original petition of suit affecting parent-child relationship with an acknowledgement of paternity. We're having a hearing, is that correct, Ms. Parker?
Yes, on temporary orders, Your Honor.
Okay, so this is a temporary hearing. And do we have any stipulations?
Yes, Your Honor, the parties stipulate that Mr. Head is the father of Ezra. The parties stipulate to joint managing conservatorship. They stipulate to child support and medical support based on the minimum wage presumption at this time. So child support, $217 per month, and medical support, $56 per month. And they stipulate to reserving retroactive child support and court costs for final trial.
All right, and the issue?
The issue is, right now, the issue is of the visitation. Ms. Hernandez would like to start off with a modified visitation, and Mr. Head would like a standard possession order.
All right, let's proceed.
Okay. Your Honor, the state would like to call Sarah Hernandez.
Okay.
Ms. Hernandez, why are you requesting a modified possession order?
I'm worried that Ezra's not going to be safe. It went having overnights. Nathan's been showing some not so stable behaviors. The one I'm most concerned about is that he's allegedly abused his girlfriend. I believe it was within this past month in November. And I'm worried for Ezra's safety. I'd rather just start off with slow visitations and then work our way up to the standard visitations.
And how do you know he's abused his girlfriend?
She reached out to me personally. My uncle is a cop and reached out to the detective that's working on the case, and he's writing up a report. So I've also had that.
And you and Mr. Head, did you and Mr. Head ever live together?
Yes.
And when you and Mr. Head were in a relationship, did Mr. Head ever physically abuse you?
No, but I did see him.
Okay, objection, Your Honor, to anything after no.
All right, stand.
Ms. Hernandez, when you were with Mr. Head, you also have another child, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so when Mr. Head was living with you, you were okay with Mr. Head being around your other child, correct?
With me there, yes.
So he was never around your other child without you being there?
No,
Never, even when you lived together?
no.
Okay. And what type of modified possession schedule are you requesting?
I believe my attorney has the schedule. We were saying Saturdays for a few hours and possibly Thursdays for a few hours, like the standard possession has the Thursdays for a few hours.
When was the last time Mr. Head has seen his child?
Father's Day.
And why
I'm
hasn't
sorry. What was the answer?
Father's Day?
Father's Day. That's in June.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
Your Honor.
All right.
And when you saw him in June, did he see him by himself?
Yes. I believe
Okay.
he was.
Well, was without you?
Yes.
And had he been taking his child previously without you?
Yes.
And at that time, was it overnights?
Yes.
And why hasn't he seen his child since Father's Day?
He's been having violent behaviors. He hasn't, when we would agree to a time, say from Friday to Sunday, he would say, I'm tired or I don't feel good or some reason and drop Ezra off early. And we were just
So-
having a lot of difficulties with communicating a schedule for Ezra.
Okay, so you're having difficulty communicating a schedule, so you stopped all the visitation?
Along with my concern about his violent behavior, yes.
Okay, but you just said you were concerned because he was bringing him back early because he was tired. And
There was different excuses every time, yes, ma'am.
okay, and you just said you learned about this this alleged violent behavior last month, correct?
No, ma'am. I've known about the violent behavior, but I never expected him to actually abuse somebody. A woman, basically. I've seen him abuse other men, my daughter's father and his dogs, but I never thought that he would abuse a girlfriend. That's what has me concerned because I know he has a temper and violent behavior, but I never thought it would cross that boundary. So now I'm also scared. What kind of mental state is he in? Is it going to cross the boundary with our son too?
Okay, so did you know all this stuff before Father's Day?
I didn't know he was abusing his new girlfriend, but I knew everything else. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so you were comfortable with him having your child before Father's Day when you knew all of those things, correct?
Yes, he would contact me when he was having a bad day and said he needed me to pick Ezra up.
Okay, so if he's having a bad day, he's able to communicate with you and tell you he needs you to come pick Ezra up, correct?
He was, yes.
Okay. Your Honor, I have no further questions for this witness.
Mr. Nelson, do you have any questions for Ms. Hernandez?
Absolutely, Judge. Thank you. Mr. Hernandez, you and Nathan separated in August of 2018. Does that sound correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Did he continue living with you for a period of time after that?
Yes.
Okay. Do you know has he ever told you that he's diagnosed with any mental disorders?
Yes. Bipolar and depression. Bipolar and depression.
Okay. When y'all were together, was he seeking treatment for those medical conditions?
No.
Do you know if he's currently taking medication for those?
No.
Are you aware that he has warrants out of the city of Deer Park?
Yes.
Okay. and is his address still associated with your address and you've received letters in the mail regarding those warrants?
Yes.
Okay. Are you aware that he's also facing a criminal theft charge out of Harris County for theft at Walmart that occurred this year?
Yes.
You mentioned some previous altercations between Mr. Head and the father of your other child. When did that occur?
That occurred when I was about 8 months pregnant. Around 8 months. With Ezra.
Pregnant with Ezra? Okay.
Yes.
And have you ever seen him get in physical altercations with other people?
Yes.
Who is that?
I maybe his sister, I guess. They've gotten into pretty heated arguments. Other than that, I've never seen it.
Was there an altercation back in May of 2021?
Yes.
Okay. Tell the court about that altercation.
I was going to pick up Ezra and he gave me an address where to pick up Ezra. I put the address into my GPS and it took me to the wrong house. I called Nathan to let him know that I was there and he told me I don't see you. And I started driving around. We came to the conclusion that I was at the wrong place. So then Nathan lost his temper, started screaming at me, started cussing at me. My daughter was in the backseat of my car and could hear him over the phone. It was very difficult for me to find out where he was, but once I finally did find out where he was, Nathan was still screaming and still cussing and acting really inappropriate in front of both of my children, Ezra and my daughter. He was pushing me out of the way to put Ezra into his car seat and like shoving me away from where he was to put Ezra into the car seat. He tried to speak to my daughter and I asked him to not talk to her because she was very uncomfortable with the situation. Obviously, she was 9 at the time. He was slamming my car door, hitting my car, cussing. And once Ezra was in his seat and the door was closed, I drove off with Nathan still standing there screaming.
Okay. And he did all this in front of your son, Ezra, as well as your older daughter.
Yes.
Ezra is currently on Medicaid, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Back when you and Nathan were together, did he ever abuse any drugs or prescription medications?
Yes.
And what do you know that he was abusing at that time?
Painkillers.
Okay. Where did he get those painkillers?
From a coworker.
Okay. So what's that?
Also from his sisters. I don't know if they're married or they just had a child together.
Okay. But to your knowledge, it was not a prescription from a doctor?
No.
Do you know if he had a medical condition that required him to take painkillers?
Yes. He said that there was something wrong with his knees that from a previous accident. So he would have to be prescribed painkillers.
But if he couldn't get them from a doctor, he got them elsewhere?
Yes.
Okay. Did he smoke marijuana at that time as well?
Yes.
So he has not seen Ezra, who is 3 years old, in about 6 months. Is that correct?
Yes.
And you've expressed your concerns to the court about Nathan or Mr. Head having overnight visits at this point. Is that correct?
Yes.
Do you believe it would be in Ezra's best interest to begin a standard possession order right away?
No.
You have a child or a custody case with the final order with your daughter, correct? And the father of that daughter?
Yes.
Okay. And where do you do the pickup and drop off for that child?
My parents' house.
Okay. And is that located at 6006 Dawnview in Houston, Texas, 77087?
Yes.
Is that where you would also like to do the exchanges of possession with Mr. Head regarding Ezra?
Yes.
Do you know if Mr. Head is currently working?
No.
Has he ever worked?
Yes.
Okay. Do you know why he lost his last job?
No.
Okay. Do you know when he had a job last?
I don't know the exact dates. I believe he was working for Yamaha doing motocross, but I don't know for sure or have dates.
Okay. I will pass the witness for now, Judge.
Mr. Head, do you have any questions for Ms. Hernandez?
Thank you, Judge.
Yeah. For one, sorry, I'm just taking a lot right there because I guess just one of the first instances there is my question is before Ezra was even born, did I not provide for you and Elena as far as tuition and father-daughter dances and first-time fishing and a lot of these things that I wasn't even a dad myself yet that I signed up? I mean, did I do those things at least?
Judge, I would object to form, compound question, and relevance.
Well, I don't know
Overruled.
how to ask.
Overruled. Ms. Hernandez, go ahead. You can answer that. Did he
You-
provide all those things?
Some of them, not all of them.
Which ones did I not?
You did not pay for tuition.
Did not what? I'm
I didn't-
sorry.
He didn't pay for my daughter's tuition at school.
Oh, okay.
He took her
Whenever you
to,
made-
All right, ma'am. That's an answer.
Okay.
Go ahead, Mr. Head.
All right. Also, if I was never, I was never alone with Elena without you, because I
No.
remember
Wait.
I went to.
Wait a
I
minute,
went- well,
Mr. Head, Mr. Head, are you
Okay.
asking a question? Were
Yeah,
you
yes,
ever,
Judge.
were you ever alone with the child without Ms. Hernandez? Is that what you're asking?
Yes, sir.
All right, Ms. Hernandez, you can answer that question.
the only time I can think of is the father-daughter dance. Other than that, no.
I've never watched Elena whenever you went out and got your nails done. I never watched Elena whenever I had both the kids on the weekends. Whenever I never watched Elena whenever you stayed over after, just hanging out with relatives late at night. I mean,
No.
I don't
Okay,
understand.
hold on, Mr. Head. Mr. Head, you have to ask a question. Now you have to give her an
I'm sorry.
opportunity to answer. Ms.
Okay.
Hernandez. Ms. Hernandez. No, he was never alone with her when you got your nails done or when you went to do this or that or the other. Is that correct?
Correct. No, he was not. I would take her with me.
Okay. Mr. Head?
I mean, I have. Okay, I don't understand. Okay. Sarah, did you first tell me all this was over just times and dates of pickups and drop-offs?
No, I was also concerned about your behavior.
Whenever I'm pleading and begging and I'm trying to get anything out of you to understand why I'm being held from my son, why was this never brought up, or you never told me anything about it, but just wanting to prove that I was running from child support when I was still paying?
I did
guess
adjust.
Wait, Mr. Head, what is the question?
So I guess my question is, I guess the way I should ask it is, why didn't you tell him? Did you tell me, or did you ever communicate to me that it was because of you were scared of me, or I was a threat to you of any kind?
Yes, I did say that you threatened me. I also sent you a message circling the part where you were threatening me and not. I guess your behavior was questionable. I would send you messages of the ones you sent me back showing you this is why, because you're acting this way and you're threatening me this way.
Okay. How long into that was my child already being kept from me?
It was before that.
Okay.
I addressed it today that you were acting, I guess, violent in front of Elena. I addressed it that day also.
And also my question is at what point, how can I push you out of the way whenever you said that you're trying to pick up Ezra and you got lost? How at one point can I push you out of the way when you're sitting in the driver's seat there?
I wasn't sitting in the driver's seat. As soon as I pulled up, I got out of the car when you were closing your truck door and walking towards me. And then once you
Sarah,
got
you
to the
didn't.
back of my car, we both walked around to where Ezra's car seat was. And I was trying to grab Ezra so that I could put him in his car seat. But instead of handing him to me, you put him in the car seat. And then I tried to reach over so I could buckle him and close the door. But you were already closer, I guess you could say, to Ezra. So it was easy for you to move me out of the way. I wasn't directly holding Ezra, never did I have him in my exact hands. So there's no way I could put him in his car seat. You moved me out of the way.
It's impossible. You're sitting in the driver's seat.
I was not sitting in the
Sir,
But my next question, I guess, is when I opened up the door, was Elena crying inside?
Yes.
I visibly saw her crying. She was crying hysterical when
She
I'm
said,
putting Ezra in the
she said
chair.
yes. She said yes, sir. She was crying.
Oh, these are not true. um, I don't. Um, I'm just. This is. Um, I'm trying. I'm sorry. I didn't know. I got to ask questions, so I'm having to go through everything that was just said. But you said also I hit the car and I banged on the car
Yes.
as they were driving away. I was, at what point did I do that?
As I was driving away when I got back into my car.
All right. Also, I do. As far as you said, as far as the pain medicine I take, I race professional motocross, and so I have broken both of my legs, and I've had severe pain. But I've had, and I can go back and get the medical
Judge,
records as
I would
well.
object to form and narrative.
Sustained.
I'm trying
Sir,
to
you
get.
have a question for her, sir.
I'm trying to get to. Yeah, I'm trying to just understand where the question's coming from. Is
Well, no, you have to ask a question. You're going to have an opportunity to say something later on, but right now she's on the
okay.
witness stand. You can ask her
Okay.
questions about this situation.
Okay. I'm sorry. Um. Okay. As have I ever paid you in the same amount that was daycare that we both didn't like our son going to? Did I not offer and you accepted to take over those payments as far as what I was paying for the daycare for you to stay home with Ezra?
I don't understand the question.
Okay, did I ever replace the daycare money and tell you if you didn't want your job, you could stay home and I would pay you what I was paying the daycare because our baby was young? Did I ever do that? And did you ever accept the money?
Yes.
Okay, and how much was that?
I don't remember.
You don't. How much was daycare a month?
His current daycare is $500 a month.
No. The daycare before. What was the daycare amount? Because that would be the exact amount. What was the amount for the daycare that I was?
I don't remember. That was 2 years ago.
This is very first day. Okay. Um. Um. How long did I provide you with income before you got your first job or back since Ezra's been born?
You didn't provide me with an income. You offered to pay whatever you wanted rather than child support because you were not on child support yet. So you offered to make payments on, you chose the amount and you chose the time when you would give them.
No. Okay. So it wasn't on the days that my check came in that we did the payment on. It was just.
I don't know
just
what days
random
your
my
check
days
came in.
Okay. Wow. Um. Have I ever put Ezra in harm's way in any way, or any shape or form, or any kind of in any way that you can think of?
You've had him in a home where your sister was living there and she was doing drugs. And these drug dealers and questionable people were coming to the home where Ezra was. And you've also had Ezra not living in a hotel, but you were living in a hotel and having Ezra visit you while you were in this hotel.
Okay, was I not racing at that time at the point where you agreed to that there was going to be sporadic dates and times and things of that nature? I mean, do you recall that?
You did have different schedules where you would ask him for different days, ask to have him on different days. It's not a consistent schedule.
Right. Did you not talk to my team and my current employment and say that wouldn't be a problem? That you would be able to accommodate with that kind of schedule?
I said, depending on the schedule, yes.
Okay, and then we obviously went through it, right? Because I ended up doing it and the racing, and we ended up with the agreement, correct?
You would ask for him on certain days, and some days I would say yes, depending on whether he had an appointment or we had something scheduled.
Right. And have I ever had a problem with that? Have I ever said that would be an issue of any kind? Or we were even getting a single fight over that?
Yes.
Okay, when was that? What fight was that over?
I can't tell you exact days, but there are multiple times where you would drop him off earlier than what you had told me you were going to drop him off at. You would be upset because I wouldn't be home, or I would tell you you'd have to wait a little longer for me to get home, or you would be upset because you couldn't drop him off and you wanted me to pick him up, or you'd be upset because I'd have to drop him off because you couldn't pick him up. There's multiple.
Okay. All right. Well, if if this is incredible. Um, um, okay, um, so you don't know how long I provided you with it's $1,200 is what the monthly amount was for the daycare. Um, did I not hire a nanny? Did I not hire your cousin to come in and help you whenever I left to help with the baby? Did
To
I not
babysit
hire
him, yes.
Did I not I hired Gabby to assist you and help you, right? Correct.
Not to help me, to babysit him, yes.
Okay, but did you not use her services whenever she was still there? And then you were there also.
No, she was my cousin. Once I was here and she was no longer babysitting, we would visit.
Okay, but I did provide I did pay for that for to help you with that, right? I did provide that for you, right?
You provided his childcare, yes.
Okay. Um, what was the reasons why we stopped going for the daycare that we were at? I guess it was the La Petite Academy. What was the reasons why we stopped going there?
You were unhappy with the service. You were messaging them and watching them on the live, and you weren't happy with how they're taking care of him.
Right. And was there instances of other kids also that was not being treated fairly and that were mentioned also?
I don't remember seeing any children treated unfairly or having concerns about other children.
Okay. What happened to those workers whenever I had saw them mistreat our child on camera because we were blessed with a camera? What happened to that worker after that?
One worker was fired. The other workers that were complained about, nothing happened.
Okay. Um, do you think that would show intent that I would like the well being of my child to be top notch enough to be able to stop take him to a very prestigious daycare and turn him over to the best person, which is his mom, and to take over payments? Wouldn't you think that would show at least initiative to where I do care a little bit about my son's safety?
Yes.
Okay. Um, um, you know, also with the as far as with our son's birthday this past March, did we not plan
No.
together leading up to the stages of getting ready to almost about a month out? Did we not kind of start planning and mentioning certain places about what we wanted to do for his birthday when we did pickups and drop offs?
No.
No. Okay. So did after finally meeting Simon after 2 years, and what did he do? Do you remember what he mentioned or what he said after our conversation of finally meeting me on why he thought we should meet?
Judge, I would object to hearsay.
Sustain. Ask another question, Mr. Hood.
Okay. Do you recall Simon saying after the conversation of us finally meeting that
Objection to hearsay, Judge.
Sustain.
um
Mr. Head, I'm going to give you about 2 more minutes, okay?
all right, I'm trying my best here. Upon finally meeting Simon, was the words
Judge, I would
mentioned
object
that-
to hearsay. He's talking about what Simon said.
Sustain.
Okay. Was the only reason for Simon meeting me was for him to be able to go to the birthday party because he couldn't just show up there and me be there also?
I object to speculation, Your Honor.
Overruled. Do you have an answer for that, Mr. Hernandez?
No. I was not planning a party with Nathan, and at the time, I honestly didn't have any
Well, the
plans.
answer is no. Okay, go ahead, Mr. Head.
Okay. So was later within the weeks, was I told that all of a sudden we're not going to do anything for his birthday party, correct?
It wasn't all of a sudden I had no plans to have a party for Ezra.
Okay, when did that happen? When did you say that, hey, we're not doing anything together no more as far as party wise, as far as like when did you communicate that to me?
Shortly after, maybe in April, or I don't remember the exact date. I remember telling you I didn't want to have any celebrations with us together for Ezra because you were acting irrational and impulsive and violent in front of everybody else every time someone said or was around that you didn't like or said something you didn't like.
Right, but I don't have any more questions. I don't know.
All right, Ms. Parker.
Your Honor, yeah, I have some follow-up questions. Ms. Hernandez, you said that he had warrants out in Deer Park, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
What are those warrants for?
I don't know. It does not state specifically.
Okay, you don't know what the warrants are for.
No, I can pull out the letter and double check, but it doesn't say specifically. There's only a dollar amount of how much he owes.
He owes who? Who does he owe?
It just says to avoid possible arrest and other consequences, complete the detachable reply from the below and return it with your payment of $815 immediately. And this is from the city of Deer Park.
Okay, so they're traffic warrants?
I don't know.
Okay, but you don't know that they're not criminal warrants, correct? Like he's not wanted for a crime, correct?
I don't know.
Okay. And you also stated that he hasn't lived with you since 2018, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so you don't know anything about if he's using pain pills now, do you?
2019.
Okay,
Yes.
since 2019, you have no personal knowledge of whether he's using pain pills at this time, do you?
No.
Okay, you also have no personal knowledge of whether he's taking his bipolar medication at this time, do you?
No.
Okay, and you said that when he was bringing Ezra to the car, you tried to take the baby from him that time, correct?
I reached my hands out so he could hand him to me.
Okay, and then when he went to go put him in the car, you also tried to put him in the car at the same time, correct?
Yes, I was right there. So once he walked out, I could, strap him in and everything.
Okay, and you say you have concerns about him oh, pain pills, he was violent in the past, but you still let him visit with Ezra, even when you had those concerns, correct?
I never thought that he would hurt Ezra. I had,
Okay, and
he
do you
had
think he
never
would hurt
abused.
Okay, but do you think he would hurt Ezra now?
I don't know. I don't know if
Oh
he's
my
in the
God, Sarah, come
mental
on, dude.
capacity
Okay,
to handle Ezra's tantrums
okay,
or Ezra's behavior. I don't know. That's my
okay,
concern.
okay, and that's your concern because of information that you recently learned, your concerns have changed, or this is stuff you already know, but now you have a concern about it?
Accumulated information I've already known, along with information now, along with his behavior now. It's all accumulated.
How do you know about his behavior now if you haven't spoken with him in 6 months?
I have spoken with him. I have blocked him repeatedly on and off. I'll give him updates on Ezra since he hasn't seen Ezra. I'll give him updates about his medical health. He has allergies. So we were going through allergy testing while he wasn't with Ezra. So I gave him all the updates about that. General updates like he's doing good in school. His speech is getting better. He's learning new words, sending him pictures. And I would get more replies on how he feels about me and just, I'm gonna bust
No,
down your
no,
door to
no,
come to your house,
no,
Okay,
yeah,
Your
no,
Honor.
things like that.
no,
Okay,
no, no.
okay, and during that time where you were getting those replies back, that was during the time where you were not allowing him to see his child, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And when, since June, you never even offered him any type of visitation, correct?
No, ma'am.
Okay, and my final question is, would you also be upset if someone said you couldn't visit your child at all?
Yes, ma'am.
No further questions.
Just a couple follow-ups, if you don't mind, Judge. Ms. Hernandez, are you aware that this case was filed back in April of 2020?
Yes.
And prior to this case being filed, did you and Mr. Head schedule a negotiation conference with the Attorney General?
2, yes.
Okay, did he show up to those?
No.
Okay. So you attempted to get this matter resolved a long time ago, even before April of 2020, is that right?
Yes.
Okay. Where is Mr. Head currently living?
I don't know.
So if he was awarded an SPO right away, you don't even know where your son would be. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. Does he know where you live?
Yes.
Where was the last place that you're aware of that Nathan was living?
With the girlfriend that he allegedly abused.
And was her name Heather?
Yes.
And to your knowledge, he was living in her home
Yes.
for how long?
She told me a month.
Okay. And he's no longer living there. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. So you're concerned because you don't know where your child would be if Nathan was to get weekend visitation at this point.
Correct.
Okay. Additionally, you have seen his violent behavior and that concerns you as well.
Correct.
Okay. I'll pass this witness, Judge. Thank you.
Your Honor, I just have one more follow-up question. Okay, you said you currently don't know where he lives right now, correct?
Correct.
Miss Parker,
But
Miss Parker,
Your Honor,
Miss
yes.
Parker, this is not your time.
Oh,
Mr.
sorry.
Head, do you have any further questions for Ms. Hernandez? And I'm
Yes,
gonna give you 2 or 3, that's it. This is a temporary hearing, okay? This is not a final hearing.
right. These, I mean, it just, as far as how many times have you asked me for my address, sir?
Multiple.
What is multiple? Like, for what instances besides? What was the last time that you asked for my address? Was how long ago?
A few days ago.
Okay. Other than that, have you and can show that you've asked for my address?
Yes.
Okay. Do you think it'd be easy for me whenever I could just tell you what the address is going through this matter? That could be easy to do?
Well, no, I've asked and you don't tell me.
Right, because you wanted me to go through a court proceeding. You think that'd be smart to do, right? I mean, if
No,
you're,
no, 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 sir. You have a question?
well, yeah, my question is, do you think it would be a smart move whenever I'm going through a court proceeding and you're telling me to go through a court system, but then turn around and ask me privately for questions to be answered? Do you think it would be smart enough to answer those until I got to this court proceeding, or
Yes,
do you think that would be a smart thing to do? Right.
yes.
But as far as the girlfriend goes, all that's getting dismissed, and
I would object to
we do have
form, Your Honor.
detectives' names.
Just saying.
But
All
other
right,
than
hold
that,
on a
that's
minute.
all
Hold
I
on a
have.
minute. Hold on a minute. I'm gonna make a hearing. Who's, there's gonna be some supervised visitation at this time. As long as there's warrants out there, I don't want you to have the child and then get picked up for a warrant of some type. Mr. Hernandez, you were saying that you wanted, that you were willing to allow him visitation on what days?
The normal Thursdays, on the normal court orders are from 6 to 8 and possibly Saturdays.
And who would supervise?
My dad could supervise.
Oh my God, this is happening.
All right. Anything further?
Your Honor, so I just want to be clear. So you're saying because he has traffic warrants out, he's not allowed to have his child
I'm
over
making
without her
an
parents?
order here, sir. It doesn't make, ma'am, it doesn't make any difference why, okay? Don't be questioning the
Okay.
judge.
Okay. And what time was it on Saturdays?
I haven't decided yet.
I thought we got a piece to say towards the end of it.
All right, all other stipulations are approved. Fathers to have possession and access every Thursday from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. and every Saturday from 10 a.m. to 12 a.m. Possession and access to take place and supervised by the maternal grandfather. The case is transferred to the 257 District Court for final hearing. Domestic relations mediation is ordered. Anything further?
Judge, I heard you say 10 a.m. to 12 a.m. Was that 12 p.m., noon?
Oh, noon. Yes.
Okay.
Sorry.
No worries. Nothing else from Mr. Hernandez, Judge.
All right. Give me an order, please.
Okay, we can head back over to the other Zoom. Mr. Head logged back into the Zoom we were on previously, so we can do the order.
Okay. Thank you for your time, Your Honor.
Yes, sir.
All right. Sarah, I'll see you in the other room, okay?
Okay.
What do we got? That's your laptop. Well, you can look at it.
And it has been laid out for a long time.
It just barely did affect today.
Most like it's not gonna work. Do you have a picture?
If it's once you're done, you can go in. I'm okay.
No. show your video, it should come up.
There it is. Okay, so how do I get rid of this?
It'll go away.
It'll just keep rolling.
Yeah. Like-
Okay, super.